Emily, and today I'm going to talk to you about Lefse. What is Lefse? Lefse is a Scandinavian soft flatbread that is especially popular around the Christmas holidays. It is typically made from potatoes, flour, butter, and milk or cream. The most common filling is adding butter and sugar to the lefse and then rolling it up, but you can add other fillings such as meat or cheese. It is practically a potato tortilla, so you can roll up many different foods. Other variations include hardinger lefse, which is often made with egg yolks and buttermilk instead of potatoes. Why Lefse is important to me. Both sides of my family are part Norwegian, so I grew up with Lefse at Christmas and Thanksgiving at both of my dad and mom's Christmases. My grandma and her sisters would get together during deer hunting season and make giant batches of Lefse to take to their Thanksgivings. It would take all weekend because this process is very finicky. The recipe has been passed down from 5 generations of Norwegian immigrants. What is the history of Lefse? Potatoes first arrived in Norway 250 years ago, which is when the potato lefse first arrived. During the 19th century, lefse was a popular way to store wheat or potatoes. Winters in Norway are extremely harsh, and Norwegians needed their food to make it through the winter. To combat this, they would cook up the lefse like a cracker. Women would get together and make a year's worth of lefse over a short period of time. Lefse originally did not contain potatoes and was made from flour, but when potato harvests were good, they would store potatoes in this way as well. When they were ready to enjoy some lefse, it was dipped in water and soaked between damp cloths until softened. Like today, it was enjoyed with butter and maybe some sugar. More than 100 years ago, Norwegians came to America, and they brought lefse with them to travel across the ocean on their long voyage. This food is now a part of the Norwegian American culture and is typically eaten around Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, is this food healthy? Lefse does not contain many ingredients, so the nutrition is minimal. According to the nutrition label on the package for Festival brand Lefse, there are 60 calories for every 2 pieces, which does not include any food that you put into the lefse. As for macroingredients, there are 3 grams of protein, 12 grams of carbs, and 0 grams of fat, according to the label. The 2 most prevalent microingredients are calcium and iron. So would I describe this food as healthy or unhealthy? I would say that it depends on what you put inside of it. If you put butter and sugar like tradition, I would say no. But if you put veggies and make a wrap with it, then you can make it healthy. Overall, you would not gain much nutritional value from lefse alone. Here is an eating demonstration that I made.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm going to teach you how to prepare Norwegian lefse today. This one I found at Festival. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your lefse piece, you're going to take some softened butter, spread it on there real good, take a little bit of just granulated sugar, spread it on there evenly. Then take a little bit of cinnamon, sprinkle it on there. And then roll it up like a little tortilla, and you're done. Here's an interview with my grandma Lynn.
Introduced me to Lefse. Well, my mother,
Yes.
and she was a great Lefse maker, and probably her mother introduced her. So it's been handed down generation to generation.
Oh, wow.
And I would say 5 generations, because I would say your great-great-grandma that came from Norway started it, and then my grandma, and then, which would be, Amy's great-grandma.
Yeah.
Well, our favorite way is butter and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I remember my dad, who, your great-grandpa, he would sit at Christmas time, and he would put, sometimes he'd put whatever vegetable we had. So let's say we'll have squash. So he'd put the squash in there, and he'd put whatever meat we had, he'd put that in there, he'd roll it up and eat it. The rest of us wouldn't, but, he was doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But only eat it at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
and now, we kind of have started with Thanksgiving, but our family, No, it was just a treat at Christmas time.
She also described how you'd prepare lefse. So what you do is you peel and boil the potatoes, then you would rice and mash them, and finally add the butter and salt. Then you would cool all of this in the refrigerator for a while. After this, you would mix in the flour and make it into small balls. Once the balls are formed, you would roll the balls out onto a pastry board with the special Norwegian rolling pin that you see, and this rolling pin has special grooves on it. Then you bake it at 425 on a special griddle until the brown spots appear, and then you flip it over. Usually this griddle is a little bigger than normal. Then you would remove the lefse from the griddle and store it in an airtight container so it doesn't go bad.
I would recommend that they try it, but if you're not accustomed to it, people think it's like tastes like a cold pancake and they don't like it.
And that's the end. Thanks for listening.